What's up, everybody? This is Suresh from Mind is a Monkey coming at you guys with another episode of Let's Check Out Some Diecast. In today's video, I'm very excited to be checking out the Hot Wheels Pantone series, which is under the Hot Wheels Silver Series assortments, right? Now, I think this particular series is like a brand new assortment under Silver Series because in the past we have seen GDG 44 or GRT 01 or HRT 01 kind of assortments, but this happened to be like a brand new assortment. It's JKY 47, right? And to my wildest surprise, I ended up finding this assortment at Target, right? Now, the reason, that was surprising because traditionally, Hot Wheels Silver Series have always been kind of exclusive to Walmart, with the exception of some of the vintage racing or some other Salt Lake series that we have also found at Mayer, right? But this is the first Silver Series that has showed up at Targets. So that's pretty cool. So all along, I was checking my local Walmarts every now and then to see if this series would eventually show up. But then on one fine evening, I ended up finding this at Target. So pretty cool set. Now, with regards to the specifics of the set, this comes in cases of 10, right? And it's a 6-car assortment. And I think even though the Cool Combi is a very popular casting and people always try to go after this one, I think this is also going to be like the easiest to find because there are 3 Cool Combis per case, right? So there are going to be 3 Cool Combis, 2 Twin Mills, 2 Nissan Fairladies, 1 Mustang Boss, 1 Copo Camaro, and 1 Porsche, which happens to be the Chase. All right, but we will get into those details in a little bit, right? But for some background, right? Pantone, right? What does the word Pantone mean, right? So Pantone apparently is an American company which is headquartered in New Jersey. I think the place is Carlsbad, New Jersey, right? So in 1963, this company developed a proprietary system for categorizing colors, and that is known as the Pantone matching system, right? So whenever somebody says the word Pantone, it is a reference to one of the almost 2,000 colors within the Pantone matching system. And the Pantone is a derivative word. So pan, which means all, and tone, that's colors. So pretty cool choice of name because the Pantone matching system has become kind of like the worldwide standard for selecting, communicating, and matching colors, right? So the number that you see, so 533 on this particular Nissan Fairlady, that's actually the code, the Pantone matching system code for that particular dark blue of a shade. And for example, in this Ford Mustang Boss, the Pantone 195 is a reference to the burgundy or maroon, whatever shade we call that, right? So a pretty cool, series altogether. Again, like I said, there are 6 cars in this assortment. So pretty interesting and fun set of cars. So let's dive right into it. Now, with regards to the card art, right, you got to appreciate the card art because, so it says Pantone, right? We already figured that is the name of the colors and the Pantone matching system and everything. So if you see the card art, right, so it's like an unpainted or possibly a white color car kind of like goes through that card and kind of like comes out painted on the other side. Do you see that? So this is almost like a Polaroid, print of that color or whatever. And the unpainted car is kind of like coming through that, and it is as it passes through that color, it is getting painted. So that's I found that pretty dope. I found that pretty cool, right? And this is kind of like a recurring theme among all the cars, right? So here you see an unpainted Mustang kind of like go through the card and emerge in that royal burgundy of a shade, right? So that is something that we will be seeing, all right? So that's a recurring theme on the card art. And each of these cards have like a unique number, the Pantone 195, which is also printed on the car. So that is actually the name or the designation of that particular color, right? So these are like the recurring themes among all the cars that we will see today, all right? So our first car for the day, 1 out of 6, is the Nissan Fairlady Z, right? So now, again, so the Silver Series, right? As we have seen a few times in the past, these are like the semi-premium Hot Wheels, right? So they are not your real riders and stuff like that. But again, they are not your basic $1 mainline. So they've definitely got some additional details and stuff like that. So there you see Pantone 533, right? Which is actually the designation of that particular deep blue, deep sea blue, right? So a pretty beautiful looking Nissan Fairlady Z. And it almost reminds me of a mainline that came back in 2016 or maybe 2017 under the Kaido House banner in Hot Wheels, right? So very similar vibes, right? But it's got those special wheels, which is the semi-premium treatment, right? And pretty much another recurring theme that I found was the wheels, right? So even though it's like a single shade of paint throughout the body of the car, the wheels are black and white with that white lips, right? All right, so there we have the Nissan Fairlady Z, and that is the additional detail of the tail lights that you get at that price point, right? And a minor paint job on the front headlights as well. So there we have Pantone 533 Nissan Fairlady Z. All right. Our second casting for the day is the 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302. Now this is an unbeatable casting, right? So I think this was a super treasure hunt back in the days, right? And one of my earliest ever super treasure hunt finds. So, and this is a very celebrated casting, this 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302, right? So it's pretty popular among collectors. There we have it. So completely a single shade, right? So I think that's a unique signature to the Pantone series, right? So including the seats and the interiors, they are all the same shade, right? And that is also something that you will note with the Fairlady, and that is something that we will check with the upcoming cars as well. So there we have Pantone 195, so which is the designation for this burgundy slash maroon, deep red, whichever way we want to put it. All right, so pretty cool. The same set of wheels, right? The same set of wheels, but you see that the wheels are also sharing the shade with the Mustang Boss paint scheme. All right, and we have the repeating pattern of the white lips on the wheel hub. All right, so there we have the 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302. At number 3, we have the Twin Mill 3, right? So this is Pantone 186. There was a very funny post on the internet which said, is Hot Wheels really cool, or is it just milking us, right? So you kind of gotta hand it over to the Hot Wheels team. They are coming up with these really cool design concepts and kind of like keeping it fresh for collectors, right? So you gotta kind of like appreciate the Hot Wheels design team for that. So there we have the Twin Mill 3, which happens to be an original design of Hot Wheels, right? So Pantone 186. Out of the 6 castings, I think this could be the only fantasy casting. That's what I would say. I know that we have some real world models of the Cool Combi, and it's also like a Volkswagen licensed product. So so that leaves us with just the Twin Mill being the only fantasy casting in this entire series. So we'll set that right there. At number 4 is a pretty fan favorite Cool Combi. Now, when either T. Hunter Glog or Lamley kind of like previewed this, right, through Hot Wheels sneak peeks or whatever, wow. I mean, everybody was going crazy about this Cool Combi, right? And hey, which reminds me, before it started hitting targets, people were also finding this at Barnes and Nobles, which is like a very famous chain of bookstores here in the United States. So Barnes and Nobles also had like a limited selection of these Pantone cars, but they were priced like possibly $5, which is more than what you would pay in the general retail market, right? So that was just something that I wanted to call out, right? Again, we have like a unpainted, a primer coated cool combi going through that card, which is Pantone 021, which is code for that orange, and coming out fully painted, right? Pretty cool. And those wheels, they remind me of Mystery Machine wheels, right? Scooby-Doo wheels. All right, let's open it up. So it's kind of quite calming to note that this will not be such a rare casting, considering that there are going to be like three of these per case, right? So Pantone 021, the classic cool combi Volkswagen front grille, and pretty nice choice of wheels. It almost looks like an orange pumpkin, right? So very, very cool. And, the interiors are also matching that shade. So pretty cool. I am a huge fan of this casting. So this will definitely be a very cherished addition to that cool combi set that I have. All right. So pretty awesome. Let's set that right there. And at number 5, we have another fan favorite, 69 Copo Camaro with a Pantone 2013 shade. All right. So in goes the unpainted Camaro, and out it comes in the Pantone 2013 shade, which is like this mustard of a yellow, right? So wow, check that out. Beautiful, right? So Pantone 2013 and the classic Camaro lettering there. All right. So pretty beautiful. And the fact that even the windshield, everything, right? The windshield, the wheels, the interiors, and the exterior, pretty much everything is having that common shade of yellow, right? So that's something that you see in the series, right? Even the plastic windshield pieces and the rear window pieces, all those pieces supposed to represent glass, they are also the same shade. So there we have the 69 Copo Camaro. So classic front side. Oh, I was actually half expecting a plus for the Chevy there, but no, I did not find that. Pretty cool rear with the Camaro lettering. Oh, I wanted to call out. Yes, I'm always a fan of this 69 Ford Mustang Boss's rear. So especially that detail on those headlights and that Mustang there, right? It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's set that right there. Or possibly I'll move it behind because I need the space for the ta-da, drum rolls please. 6 on 6, the Porsche 934 5 in the Pantone 123 shade, right? Now the reason I called out for those drum rolls is because this is the chase, right? Now what makes this a chase? Now, besides the fact that it's a one per case kind of a distribution, this is also the only car in the series which is metal on metal, right? So everything else is metal on plastic, right? So the cool combi, the twin mill, everything is metal on plastic with the exception of this Porsche, which is metal on metal. And you kind of like literally feel it when you lift the car, right? So it clearly shows. And such a beautiful Porsche. And I think Hot Wheels has finally figured out, like the concept of a chase. What is it actually gonna be, right? So I kind of like kept that as a topic for a future video. But I think it's pretty cool that Hot Wheels has finally kind of like come to a consistent way of designating a chase, right? Because in the past we have seen one particular casting which would be like super rare, or one particular casting which would be like a shinier Spectra Flame version, right? And one that would be metal on metal. But I think finally they have kind of like settled that it's going to be like a fully metal on metal casting, right? So now that is something which we will be able to verify in future sets. But for now, let's enjoy this Porsche, right? So this Porsche actually gives me a lot of Daniel Orsham vibes. You remember the special Mattel Creations release that Hot Wheels had? It was a collab between Mattel and Daniel Orsham, right? So with all the broken fines or the rusted fines or whatever, right? So this gives a lot of Daniel Orsham vibes, right? Now, Pantone 123. So this shade of bright yellow, right? So very beautiful casting, and the Porsche lettering on the spoiler there, all right? And trying to see if any of these guys have like a fun Easter egg of a tailplate, but nope, nothing so far. So, and this is the only metal on metal casting. So, and this is also like one per case. So two nice features to call it a chase in the Silver Series semi-premium kind of production line. So there we have it, folks. What are your favorites? My favorite would definitely be, I'm a sucker for cool combis. So that would be my number one. The Porsche would be my number two, possibly the Mustang Boss at number three, with the remaining castings at number four, right? So what are your favorites? Share your thoughts in the comments. Till I meet you guys next time, this is Suresh signing off. Rock on and stay awesome. Bye, everyone.